everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Guide to. This time we're having a look at some audio gear, which is all in front of me here. So, first port of call is the all-faithful Rode video microphone. So these have been around for quite a while in different iterations. This one in particular is the Video Mic Go because it's got no battery. It is powered entirely through plugging into that port on your DSLR. Underneath this little foam cover is your actual microphone itself, so your mic lives inside this. It's actually right down the end here, and then this is all basically filtering and making it somewhat directional. So because it's a directional microphone, basically wherever you point it is where you're going to pick up sound. So if you want to imagine a sort of cone coming out of the end of it, like an ice cream cone, anything inside that cone will get picked up. Now we do have some of the older versions of these which take one 9-volt battery. On those, do remember that there is a little switch on the back that you need to turn on. Otherwise, if you don't turn it on, you won't be recording any sound. So do be aware of that. Otherwise, on the bottom, you've got a cold shoe mount here, which you basically just slide on top of your camera and then use this little spinny thing here to lock it in place so it doesn't move and wobble around. You've got this lovely Ryko shock mount here, which basically stops any sort of sound getting into your microphone unless you start bonking it on the head. So do be aware of that. Otherwise, these microphones are brilliant if you are in quite short range of something. So if you're quite close to someone or quite close to something, then it's going to work a lot better. If you're quite far away, so if you're over, I'd say about a meter and a half away, that's when it starts becoming worse and worse and worse, because it's only designed to be quite a short, close form microphone. So the distance from about me to this camera in front of me, absolutely perfectly fine. If it was the other side of the door, out the other end of Studio 2, that's a bit far away. It's going to struggle to pick things up. That's why you might want to invest in a separate microphone. So something like this, a Zoom H2N. This is obviously the kind of included Afro little muffler that you can stick on the top. Now these microphones are brilliant. They are basically just a microphone in a box. So much like a camera recording video, this is just an object that records sound. So you've got an on-off switch on the side here. Next to that, you've got your mic gain wheel. So the higher the number, the louder you record, the lower the number, the quieter you record. So if you've got quite a loud person that you're recording, you'll probably want to turn that number down a bit. Likewise, if they're quite quiet, you'll want to crank the volume up. On this side, you've got a headphone output, so you can plug some headphones in so you can hear what's going on. Takes two AA batteries in the back and one SD card slot, which hides just underneath this flap at the bottom here. Now, you can, very similar to like a camera, it does have a screw mount on the bottom, so you can screw it into tripods and plates and things if you want to hide it somewhere. However, it does have rubber feet, so it will just sit on the table and record everything till its heart's content, so do be aware of that. Otherwise, the only other button you really need to worry about on the front is your record start stop button. Press it once to start recording, press it once when you're done. Simple as that. It is one of the easiest things to use in the world. Now, you can, if you want, if you know what you're doing, on the top there's a little dial wheel. Now, generally we put this towards 2-channel, so that basically means it will record from both sides of the microphone. However, with this little settings dial wheel on the top, you can tweak it, so it depends exactly what kind of sound you're looking for and where you want people to sit. But generally, if you stick it on 2-channel, you'll record everything in nice left-right stereo. Would highly recommend using that. Your next one you've got is its big brother, the Zoom H4N. This one in particular is the Pro version because it says the word Pro. You've got some extra sort of like rubberized bits. You've got proper nice sort of XLR grips at the bottom there. Now we do have the bigger brother to this as well. It's the H5. I'm currently using that to actually record this video. So I don't want to touch it, otherwise you'll corrupt all the sound. That'll sound a bit rubbish. So we do have a couple of H5s as well. Now, H4Ns are great because, of course, they got your two mics built on the top. Please be very careful with these. Don't like kind of bump them into things because you will break them, and then you can only use the two XLRs on the bottom. So very similar controls to the H2N. However, it does do a couple of extra things. So you've obviously got your record start stop button here. You've got a stop button, play, and then next and previous track button. So this mainly is all to do with playback. These buttons here are probably the most important ones of the lot. So if I just turn the H4N on, just by putting the down switch there, you'll see it wakes up on the screen and we can sort of talk you around it. So the main things to remember here, especially when you're using a H4n, is you need to press the record button twice and the stop button once. And what these buttons down here do, basically tell the H4n where you want to record from. So if I press mic, it means I'm going to record out of these top mics. And if I press 1 and 2, it means I'm going to record out of the 2 XLR slots at the bottom. This particular unit can't record from both sources at once. The H5n can. So if that is what you're looking for, where you want mics on board and external ones as well, you can use one of our H5ns to do that. Now, on the side, of course, you still got your headphone volume there. And on the right-hand side here, instead of a gain wheel, you've got a record level up-down button. So you just simply press plus or minus here to change the level of the record volume. And again, an SD card slot goes in the side and runs on 2 AA batteries that you can see there. Now, remember, the main thing with the H4 is you need to remember to press the record button twice. Obviously, without an SD card in it, it's not going to work at the moment, but you need to press it once so you can pre-fade, so you can hear exactly what audio you're going to hear, and then you press it once more and you'll notice these numbers at the top will start going up, and that means you're actually recording content. And then once you're done, you just press the stop button once to stop. And then remember, turn them off once you're done, because obviously we only have a finite supply of batteries, so don't drain all the batteries for all of it. So the 2 different microphones you can use with the H4n is your Rode NTG. Now this is the NTG2. We've also got a couple of NTG1s, one of which I'm using at the moment to record this video. Hilarious. So what the Rode NTG is it's basically the big brother of this. So as I pointed out before, the microphone element in this is literally just this small piece here. For these, the microphone element is basically the entire length of this. So it is a much bigger unit, roughly, I think it's about here. I've not personally taken one of these apart and would not recommend it unless you're a trained professional. Now, the NTG1 doesn't take batteries, but the NTG2 can. So you can use it with 1 AA battery in case you don't have an object that uses what's called phantom power. So what phantom power is something that the H4n and H5n can do, as well as mixing desks and the like. So what phantom power is basically a way of sending power from the object to the microphone to basically make it work. So with these, generally, if you've got phantom power on, you don't need to put a battery inside them. But if you have an object that doesn't use phantom power, then you might have to. Again, you've got 1 XLR port on the bottom there, which obviously plugs into our cable and then plugs into the other end here. And then, hey presto, sound will happen. NTG2s are the updated version of the older NTG1s, but they both have a very similar frequency response mark, so you will get a very high quality sound out of them. Because these are really, really directional microphones, you basically have to point it at the thing you want, and there is quite a bit of fall off at the other end. However, with these you'll be using something like a boom pole or a sort of microphone stand, so you don't have to worry about holding a boom pole like that forever, but they will clip onto the top and allow you to get significantly closer to the person or people you are recording. The last one we've got, which plugs into the bottom, is a wired lapel microphone. So you've probably seen these on the news and basically every other thing on the planet. But these are wired lapels. So you've got an XLR port on the top here, which goes from your cable to your recording device. This can hide in someone's back pocket or hide on the floor or side pocket or wherever. And this simply takes 1 AA battery in the bottom, and then just remember to obviously turn it off once you're done with the 2 switches here. Now, all these switches do, if you put it in the middle, you'll get a really nice flat sound, which is probably what you want. If you put it up one stage, you basically get a bit of a bass cut. So if the person is particularly bassy in their voice, it will cut a bit of that out for you. So generally keep it in the middle on the line, and then obviously turn it off once you are done. Then you've got the microphone on the other end. So you've got quite a nice long lead here. You've got a little clip, so you can obviously clip it onto people's clothing, like so. Voila, there we go. And then obviously the person can just talk straight into this microphone till their heart's content. And generally you'd hide this cable in underneath their jumper or jacket or whatever they're wearing, maybe a shirt, maybe a dress or whatever it might be. You can hide the cable inside and then obviously have this sticking out of their back pocket and then obviously record it in. I would only recommend using this if your subject is going to remain quite static. If they're going to be moving around quite a lot, you'd probably be wanting to use one of these or one of these, depending how close you are. but really high quality from Audio-Technica. They're really good high quality mics. If the person's really loud, you can point the microphone downwards away from them because it will still pick up their voice. It will just make it a little bit quieter. If they are quite quiet though, you will want to point it towards their mouth. Do make sure you're not wearing things like lanyards or any other sort of jewelry or things, because any kind of tap or if you brush past it, or if you've got quite rough clothing, this will pick up all those sounds and you just hear a load of rustling in your headphones. But either way, always remember to use headphones when you're recording with this audio gear. Thanks for watching along to another guide, this time obviously with sound gear. Next time we'll be having a look at some of the different light and lighting techniques you can use. See you then.